Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Today's date is June 14th, 2026. The time is now 12:03 p.m. This is, of course, Marlena, Joshua's mom, and Joshua's voice. Today, I'm going to be playing 3 audios. The first is the Oklahoma City medical examiner and the call that I had with them the day after Josh was allegedly found dead in Stillwater, Oklahoma at Boomer Lake Park. This was the first opportunity we had to drive, or opportunity we thought we had to be able to actually see his body and confirm that he was dead, because we were still in shock and didn't believe that this was real. In any event, obviously needed to get there. And so this first call is going to be with Oklahoma City medical examiner, I would say just over 24 hours after he was allegedly found dead. The next audio is going to be the call that I had with his ex-girlfriend of 2.5 years. And then the last call is going to actually be with her mom. They were part of a law enforcement family. My son's ex-girlfriend's dad had been a member of Oklahoma law enforcement. I don't believe he was active law enforcement at the time that they were dating. Believe, upon information and belief, that he was retired Oklahoma State Highway Patrol, but I don't know that for a fact. I will say that ultimately that's going to be important when you just listen for yourself, the feel and the vibe that you get listening to these audios. I initially wanted to do all 5 together in the order that they happened, but I'll go ahead and state the order. If you listened yesterday, you heard the death notification call with Lieutenant Cody Manuel of the Stillwater Police Department. And then you also heard the first call we had with Detective Rachel Bruce of the Stillwater Police Department. Both give 2 diametrically opposed accounts of how my son was allegedly found. There was an interview I did with Taylor House Publishing back in October of 2024 when I actually go over the document I finally got only after Javion McGee was found allegedly hung in North Carolina. And that case immediately went viral. And so I learned that all of the things that I'd been asking for, simple things as the family, as the next of kin, were reasonable to get. And I let them know that. And so finally, I was able to get a basic cover sheet that said that 8 eyes were on my son when authorities arrived to Boomer Lake Park. 2 of those being Detective Rachel Bruce and Lieutenant Cody Manuel. So how 2 law enforcement authorities arrived at the same scene, and one saw him allegedly hanging with it fully around his neck and him having to be cut down, and another one saying, nope, he just used a portion of the string to peacefully basically cut off his own blood supply and lean into his death. I don't know, but I've been telling people for over 2 years and 2 months now that this is what happened. I don't know if I made it clear that I have audios, just like anytime I make any allegation against anyone for anything, I come with receipts. So these are said receipts. These are the audios. I'm going to go ahead and play them now. Listen for yourself. See if you think that all of this is truthful, transparent, and just. And sorry, I think I started to say the order of the calls was, first call was notification with Lieutenant Cody Manuel. Second call was actually with the ex-girlfriend. Third call was with the Oklahoma City Medical Examiner's Office. Fourth call was with Detective Rachel Bruce of Stillwater Police Department. Fifth call, even though there were some more before this call with the mother, this would have been the fifth. And so just putting them in chronological order, that's how the calls were. I'm going to go ahead and start now with the call from the girlfriend. Hello? Kelsey? Hey. It's okay. I know this is challenging for all of us right now. How are you? Can you tell us what happened? Does he have any friends out in the area? So the officer showed up. What did he tell you? Were both cars there in the morning when you left for work? Okay, so when the location was on, you said the location was off, but then it was on and led to the greens?
That's where his last location was.
Has he ever gone to the greens before? Like, is that a regular place for him or a stopper?
No, that's why I was confused. You know,
So I'm assuming, like, was this in breaking up? Was this you were wanting to break up? Wait, they're stopping.
I know, I'm watching.
Was this like you were wanting to break up or he was wanting to break up or? Oh, I don't think you intended or knew that this would happen. I don't. just because, I mean, he told me he was like working at the school and he was doing Amazon and is it Grubhub and something else? Okay. So have you actually seen him to like positive it was actually him? Is there any chance it could be a mistake? Right. Right. What did he say to you before he left? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did you say he said something or he just left or I'm sorry? Like I said, I don't think that you did this on purpose, right? I don't think that you knew that this would happen. I don't believe that. So I need you to know I don't believe that, okay? Okay. Kelsey, is there any chance somebody else did this to him?
No.
Why are they so sure about that?
I don't know how much he expressed to you about his mental health, but he was really struggling. He got really low some days, but he had started medicine 2 or 3 months ago for his depression, and I thought it was helping. He thought it was helping, but I don't know. I don't know if it made it worse. I don't know if it made it easier for him to make that choice. I don't know.
What was he taking?
Hold on, I have a picture.
Okay.
Lexapro.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar. Lexapro. Okay. Does it say any info? Oh, you said you could send a picture of it?
Sure.
Yeah, if you could take a picture of it and send it to me.
They were gonna check. They had me come in and talk to a detective about it. And they had his phone, and we both had our passwords to both of our phones. So I told them his password so that they could have access to it. And they didn't look at it then. I'm assuming, I don't know when they're gonna look at it, but she told me they were gonna check for messages between other people to see if maybe he met up with somebody, or if he had a note. Like a note. I don't know when they're gonna check it.
What was the detective that you talked to?
Detective Bruce, Rachel Bruce.
Rachel Bruce, okay. And when did you talk to her yesterday?
I have her card if you want it.
Yeah, if you have her information, that'd be great. I tried to call. There's another guy that when the police came to us, they gave his number, but they didn't give me any information for Rachel Bruce. He mentioned her name, that she was talking to you, but they didn't give me her information. Okay. So when did they come talk to you and let you know this happened? So the residents found him at 9:30, and then they, and then
I think it was around 10:50 or so.
Is when they came to talk to you at the school?
We have an officer at our school. He was the one who talked to me, or school that's there every day.
Okay. And did they make you go to the station?
No. He just took notes about what happened. Or just some information for you guys and contact information for you guys so they can get a hold of you.
Okay. And that's when you gave that officer, I guess, the address or phone number? What did you give him?
My I didn't give them your address. I just told them that you live at the housing authority in Atoka. And I guess they probably called there and asked for your name.
Okay. Did they have a phone number for us?
I didn't have I had a different number saved in my phone than the one that you called me on right now. I guess I had one of your old numbers, so I guess that one was.
Okay, gotcha. No worries. No worries at all. Okay. So when did you get to talk to Rachel Bruce?
Later in the day, like pretty close to 5.
Did she come to you or she asked you to come to her?
I had to go to the police station. And that shit brought me to her office for an interview.
Okay. All right. We would like to, we'll ask them obviously for whatever, personal items that he has that they have on him. But we'd like to be able to recover his stuff from the apartment. Not necessarily all of it, because I know there's probably some things, but I know he has a lot of, documents, keepsakes. My dad, I was talking to this morning, and he said he just sent Josh like two pairs of really nice pants that Josh was really excited about, I guess like 3 weeks ago. And he has pictures and drawings and just different things like that our family is probably a lot bigger than anybody ever knew. And I think it's unfortunate that for so many families, you don't really see the show up until something like this happens. But everybody is, the biggest thing is nobody believes that this is real. Like, they can't process that this is real. Like, okay, has anybody seen him? Do we know for sure? Like, this couldn't be. And so I
believe that it's real, but I know in my heart that it is, because he's just not the type of person to plan a big scheme like this just to disappear. Like, he would never do that.
Right, so they didn't even show you pictures of his body to confirm it was him?
No, and I don't think I would want to see them.
I don't want to see him either, but and I'm not going to ask you to do that. As his mom, I know I have to, and I've been struggling. We were going to come up last night, but I don't even know how I'm going to do it, because just even like I don't. God's going to have to give us strength. But it's like, for a lot of people, it's like it's not real until we actually see Josh. And we can't, we're trying to process. And I know you are too. So I appreciate you being willing to talk. Because I know, he's with you. And, there's so much going on in our world. And the last thing I thought, like, especially with our trip recently, Josh was happy. He was happy to spend family time. And yeah, he mentioned the financial struggles and all that he's doing and how hard he's trying. So I was aware of all that. We talked about a lot of things, but he was happy. He's looking forward to seeing Mariah. Like, I didn't even see his last text because I just got into court and went right back to Mariah, and he was like asking, hey, can y'all FaceTime? Unfortunately, her dad violated again, so we didn't get to see her, but like, he wouldn't have. It baffles me. Yeah, but I don't want to. So, since both of y'all are on the lease, do you mind allowing your complex to let us get some things of his?
His name isn't actually on the lease. We just took it online. I don't mind you guys taking some of his stuff, but if you don't mind, can I please let through some of it first?
Yeah, absolutely, Kelsey. I understand. Look, we know that, you're not technically next of kin or married, but the significance of your relationship with Josh and his with yours, like I explained, they were two peas in a pod from day one, right? So I know that you loved him. I know that he loved you. I knew that you were his world. So I don't want you to feel like we're looking to write or dismiss any part of the significance of who you were to him. And as we work through this, as much as you want to be a part and involved, you're family to him, which means you're family to us. Okay?
Thank you so much. I don't know when I am gonna do that. But yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, our world at this point, nothing that was going on is moving forward at this point. So if you don't mind, just, give me a call when y'all are heading back out. So I can come and meet you there. Would that be okay?
Yeah. I probably gonna stay here for a few days. Like, I probably won't go back till like later next week, just because I need some time away from, I don't know, the city. Yeah, I need some time.
Sure, and that's, yeah, okay. I understand that. Well, if you could just keep us posted, we'd really appreciate that.
I'm sorry for everything. I didn't know.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking to us today, talking to me today, so that we could hear from you, because that was a missing piece that I really needed to process, right, in all of this. And do you want to be involved in anything?
Do I want to be involved?
In anything in terms of like services or
Of course I don't think I can like stand up and speak. I definitely want to be there, absolutely, but I don't think I can speak.
Okay. Okay, so all right, so that was 28 minutes, 55 seconds. That was the call with Joshua's ex-girlfriend, who reported that they had broken up 12 hours before he was allegedly found hanging. And so now I'm going to go ahead and after that call, there is another audio, and I need to locate it, where I follow up days later, letting her know I know that she's with her parents. Don't want her to have to stress about getting back, but it's now, day 5, day 6. We're trying to get Joshua's belongings as the next of kin. They weren't married. And I had been talking with attorneys that said, hey, see if you can call the complex, see if the complex is willing to help and possibly let you in so she doesn't have to go back. So what I had done was called her to let her know, check on her, see how she was doing, and let her know that, hey, I knew she was with her parents in Durant, which was hours away. I talked to the complex, and they are willing to either give me a key or allow me to go into the apartment to be able to get his things if she sent an email, and that I would also be willing to do it live stream. So, I wouldn't accidentally take something that was hers, and so that we could do that together, but she wouldn't have to actually physically go back to Stillwater from Durant. As soon as I mentioned that I talked to the complex, she started hyperventilating and said, "What? You did what? That's my apartment." And literally flipped out on me. Now, there's a video, I haven't played it yet, I'll make sure I get it up, where when they moved into the apartment, they were recording it. They both had keys, both put hands on keys, and she talked about how we both saved for 2 years to get this apartment together. So there would have been no reason or any indication that I would have known that not only had she convinced him to keep the car that he had paid her for, was paying the insurance on, was maintaining, was driving to do all these jobs in her name. I did not know that. But she literally hyperventilated, freaked out on me because that's mine and you had no right, and hung up on me. So that call is actually the one that is in between the call that you're about to hear now, when her mom reaches out to me after that call. And I would say this is the call when I knew 100% something was not right. And I apologize for the brief delay. I had this up last night and I must have closed something. So if you can bear with me just one moment, I will pull it back up. Okay, so this is the first call we received from my son's girlfriend of 2.5 years' parents. This is the very first call or communication at all that we get from them. And it comes through the mother. Again, the father is former law enforcement. This is from the mother. After I'm just trying to recover my son's belongings.
This is Rachel, Kelsey's mom.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. As a mother, I know how much this is paining you.
Thank you.
I wanted to reach out to you. I understand that you had contacted Kelsey, letting her know that you were trying to get into the apartment to get some of Josh's clothes.
I contacted her to ask her and basically tell her that, because I talked to her about it last Friday. I mean, it's not just clothes, as I'm sure you know. When someone dies, there's all kinds of things that are needed. Joshua's 25. I haven't maintained things like social security numbers, which a funeral home needs. He has affairs that have to be wrapped up. Yes, we want to put him in an outfit. His grandfather just sent him some pants. Does he have pictures, diplomas? Does he have things that matter to him? Part of a family's...
Marlana, I understand you're wanting all his effects right now. Right now is not the time to be gathering everything. We are not up there. Kelsey is down here with us. So we can have someone go and try to find the clothes that you're needing. If not, if we are unable to find those clothing items, we can get some other items that are there available for him to be buried in. And I understand there's specific clothes that you're wanting, but if we can't find them,
I hear you, Regina, and I appreciate it. I didn't even, kind of like when I was talking to her, I didn't even get a chance to finish. I understand. I did not know this until I asked Kelsey on Friday and confirmed with the complex. I didn't know he was there and not even on the lease. But what I was trying to tell her is that I spoke with someone yesterday that even though basically she's committed a lease violation, they're going to try to keep it under wraps and not treat it that way. And again, I wasn't asking to go in by ourselves. I wasn't asking.
That's not here or there right now. We're trying to get this through the situation just like you are.
Right. And what I was saying is we could even ask them to accompany us and have it live so we're not going through anything y'all aren't watching on camera.
Nobody's in that apartment at this point.
Okay. All right.
We are just trying to get through today and tomorrow and the next day.
And yes, I agree. We've been trying to do the same thing. And I guess at this point, what I'm saying is at this point, though, because, Kelsey told us, like, the last 10 to 12 hours of Josh's life, she was the ex-girlfriend, and we're the family that's grieving.
Listen to me. They had an argument. He had left. Nobody knows if he had come back, if they had talked about it, could work things out. They had left with an argument. So, at this point, we're just trying to help her get through this.
I understand. And as a mom, I'm trying to help for my son and all of our family get through it.
So the material things right now are the last thing we're thinking about.
I know it's the last thing you're thinking about, but this is what I want to be willing to ask. If you all want to bring Kelsey and come and do this today.
No.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Thank you, Regina. Thank you. So, there's a whole lot I can say, but clear thing is my dead child is not the priority, and nobody's going in that apartment, which was the last apartment he was seen in alive. Even if they were still dating, as a law enforcement wife, she knows that does not rise to the level of next of kin. So I'm going to move on so I don't get too deep into the weeds, but that was my first condolences, and let me interrupt you and tell you how it's going to go because she's the priority. Your son's dead. We'll pick an outfit. Stop talking. So next audio here is medical examiner. Completed with everything. What does that mean?
So Joshua is your son, correct? This is Mr.
Yes.
Christopher?
Yes.
Okay. So we completed the exam.
Okay.
We did not do a full autopsy. What we did is just a full body X-ray and a full body CT and blood work.
An X-ray, a CT, and blood work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And he is able to be released to a funeral home whenever the family decides on one.
Okay. We're actually here, and we'd like to see him.
So you won't be able to see him at the medical examiner's office.
Where would we?
So you would have to wait till he goes to a funeral home. We don't have private viewing areas, so the funeral homes work with the families on that.
So how soon could his body be released?
He's ready now.
So all we have to do is call a funeral home that can come get him?
Yes, ma'am. And then you'll just let me know which one. That way it gives us permission to release to their care.
Okay. Can you tell me what you found?
Yes, ma'am. So the cause of death is a hanging, and the manner of death is a suicide.
So how did this happen?
Have you talked to law enforcement?
I mean, literally briefly, like maybe 1 to 2 minutes, but just getting the information. And so, yeah, we haven't, I mean, we couldn't really even process what they were telling us yesterday. So, okay.
So they'll be the ones that'll better answer questions and things like that, like how and who found them. That's their part of the investigation that they have to give you. We only investigate the person itself and the reason for passing. So I would definitely follow up with law enforcement and ask additional questions.
Is he still in his clothes that he was in when he was found?
No, so we take the clothes off for the exam.
And where?
Everything stays with him until he's released to a funeral home, and then they'll all be signed over to you.
So like his clothes, his cell phone, everything?
Clothes, anything that was physically on him will be released to you.
Okay.
So it'll be his wallet, a key fob, a cell phone. PD has the cell phone.
Okay. So you said just a wallet, a key fob, and a cell phone?
And a paging device, and then his clothing.
Okay. Are you able to tell what he was wearing?
So it looks like he was wearing like a tan jacket, and then he had a blue sweater under that, and then a white shirt and black sweatpants, and then black shoes and white socks.
You said he had a tan jacket, blue sweater underneath, and then a white, like a kind of a white t-shirt.
Yes.
And then he had, what happened? What was?
He had black sweatpants, black shoes, and white socks.
Okay. I mean, how do we know that it's him? I mean, is that normal to not have us identify his body?
Right, so we don't do that. We do identification off of fingerprints and his state ID.
So you took fingerprints?
Yes, and then it's compared with his state ID, his driver's license. I believe it was his driver's license.
Have you all done any kind of toxicology or full autopsy?
Yeah, we did the toxicology, but that is what hasn't come back yet.
Did he have any ligatures or anything on his body?
No, just he had some scars that they noted, and then the ligature comes just from the hanging.
Scars, where were his scars?
I gotta go back into where they noted that. It looks like he has one scar on his, I can't see, they didn't note if it was left or right, but it's like on his forearm. There's a scar. There's one on, or it looks like two on top of the right hand. And then, I don't know what area this is. Maybe his elbow. It looks like there's a scarring on his elbow, his left elbow.
Okay. They did tell me that he was hanging on a tree.
Yes, ma'am.
How does one get themselves on a tree with, they said it was on from his clothing?
It looks like it's the string from his jacket that he was wearing.
The tan jacket?
Yeah.
So was he actually on the ground or on the tree when he was found?
So when he was found, they found him hanging, and then they cut him down.
Was he still alive?
No.
What time did they find him?
They found him at 9:15 yesterday morning.
So citizens walked by, they found him hanging, and they had something to cut him down with?
It says that they called 911.
Is that background noise on your end?
I don't know. I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything?
I can hear you talking at this.
Okay, my line has a lot of interference all of a sudden.
Do you want to hang up and have me call you right back?
Yeah, can you call me right back?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. This is part 2, where the conversation with the Emmy continues. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can now. I don't know what all this the noise was, but it's gone now.
Okay.
So you said there was people that found him. Did they mention how many people found him?
No, it just said that a bystander walking a dog found him and called 911. But like I said, speaking to law enforcement, they'll give you more information on all of that part of it. Because we're still waiting. We requested their report, so we're waiting for that as well.
Okay, so what normally happens to get the body? You have to pay a funeral home to come get him?
Yes.
Do you know how much that is normally?
It depends. All of them are different.
Does it matter if you get a funeral home from a different state to come get them?
No.
Do you have any that you work with that are local?
So I can't give out names because it's a conflict. But I work with all of them that are around here.
Okay. How long do they have to pick them up if we were to try to get someone today? Like, is it 24 hours for them?
Until 11 p.m. is when we stop releasing, and then we'll start releasing again at 8 a.m.
And that's 7 days a week, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And I imagine you guys have like pictures and all that kind of stuff for police. I guess they do that part.
Yes.
Okay. How long do you all expect for toxicology to come back?
It depends. If there's anything in his system, it can take up to 4 months. If there's nothing in his system, it'll take a couple of weeks to complete.
Okay. If there's up to 4 months, if something's in the system, a couple weeks, if nothing. Was he, I don't really want to, I mean, like, do they have a approximate time of death? Like, was he?
So they don't. We don't do that testing because it's so inaccurate. It wouldn't even hold up in a court of law. So by state statute, state law, we have to go on the date and time found.
Was he already, like, had rigor mortis already set in when you found him?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a phone number or email if I have any further questions to get a hold of you?
Yes. I'll give you my direct line.
Okay. I'm ready. Okay. Okay. Do you hear that crackling on the line again? Okay, 405-248-9703. 9700. And then what's your email address?
Ashley, ASHLEY, BUNNINGHAM, ashley.ok.gov.
Ashley.Cunningham with 2 N's, so CUNNINGHAM at OCME.OK.gov.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ashley, I really appreciate it. And I guess where they come, we're sitting in front of this 921 building, so citizens can't get in at all.
You can come in, you just won't be able to see him.
So what would people come in for?
Most people don't. I mean, you can come in, but I would just leave the same information that I've already told you.
Okay.
That's the only time if somebody can't or doesn't want to talk and they want somebody in person. It's just the front office part of it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you
Yes, ma'am.
for calling.
And if you have any questions, anything, email me, call me.
Okay. Are you here till 11?
No, I'm only here till 4:30.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.
5 minutes, 45 seconds. All right, that was 15 minutes, 27 seconds with the Oklahoma City Medical Examiner's Office. The medical examiner that wound up performing Josh's autopsy wound up being out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and where Stillwater's located, it's about an hour from both of them. So they're in the same region of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. His body was sent to Oklahoma City, but it was done by a Tulsa medical examiner. I had been queuing up various different things to share in this 1 or 2 part release of 5 audios. What I can say is there are many, many more that, as a Dead Man Switch, have been now shared out of the state of Oklahoma and Texas. In the event something happens to me or any of my surviving children, those audios show how Detective Rachel Bruce and Lieutenant Cody Manuel, after I continue to talk with them and try to get further information, and then finally just honestly and directly raise my concerns, how after I report my concerns to the lieutenant that's over the detective, the next time I talk to her, her answers change. Things like her saying, "This is my first case like this," and when I tell her lieutenant that I'm concerned that they have this massive police department, and she's the only one working on the case as a first-time detective, that I have a problem with that. I have concern with that. And he says to me, well, sorry, he doesn't say anything to me about that. When I talk to her the next time, she says, "Oh, I've done a bunch of hanging cases." All of a sudden, she's an expert. And so little pieces like that. Times when she says his hand was still on his neck, which due to gravity is a non-starter. And a lot more. And of course, also conversations about me thinking that I'm human enough to be able to have the right to see the pictures of my son's death that they have confirmed is not a criminal investigation. And so she agreed. The lieutenant felt like, yes, I can recommend to her that you get to see the pictures, but ultimately it's her choice, which I don't understand a policy about dead people that a police department allows individual detectives to decide as one solo person's opinion. I find that really hard to believe. And if that's how any police department is functioning, I think we have serious, serious problems beyond the ones that are obvious here. But I had an appointment to go see the pictures. And Some of the other audios I have is the day that I'm going when she says, I thought about it and I decided I don't think any mother should see them, so you don't get to see them. And as most people talk about, they're not that gruesome. So just cover up after cover up after cover up. If you've listened to the audios from the detective in the audio release last night, and then the girlfriend today, you also hear glaring, diametrically opposed stories about the girlfriend saying that my son left twice, that if they ever had a disagreement, he would just simply go sit in the car and cool off and just think and then come back up, which she said he did the last night he was ever seen, which is indicative of he left twice. She was very clear about that. When I talked to the detective, if you listen to that audio yesterday, I made sure I asked her a couple of times because I had already talked to the girlfriend when she says, nope, he left once and that's it. And then, of course, you understand in the conversation with the detective, we both agree that there are actual cameras at their front door. And so there's no way that we have a discrepancy on whether my son left once or left twice after the argument, the hard talk, the breaking up. They all claim it's different things, right? Girlfriend says hard talk. I think the detective said she was breaking up with him. The mom says, nope, they had an argument. We don't know if they broke up. And I don't remember what the lieutenant said, but they all characterize what actually happened differently. And again, if we have a video at the front door, then this is not something that should be in conflict either. Concerning that I wanted everyone to hear was the first time that I knew that everyone was keeping from me what actually happened to my son was, of course, that less than 4-minute call of sorry for your loss. I know as a mom how that can be. Don't think she's actually lost a child. And then, of course, continuing to cut me off and tell me what the priority is right now, and I'll pick an outfit, and we're not worrying about his stuff right now. And, you know, if we need to have someone go into the apartment to get an outfit, we'll do that. And then nobody is getting into that apartment, right, that has cameras and was the last place that my son was seen alive. So as a law enforcement wife, to be able to dictate flow along with the detective of no one going into the apartment that was the last place my son was seen alive, you all make your own deductions from this. But if you don't understand why Black people are hurting so much and why the Karmelo Anthony trial has brought up so many feelings, you also understand why I was there. Now, many of you know that I'm also dealing with trying to get my daughter out with Collin County holding the jurisdiction over her life. She has had her head bashed. She has had brain injury and brain noticeable impairments that 2 neurological departments and professionals of different practices have said need to be scanned. Her father has refused to do those. The family courts have affirmed that they're not going to make him do it. The DAs are aware that he hasn't done it. Police in her jurisdiction are aware he hasn't done it. Frisco PD is aware that he hasn't done it, yet my daughter is left in that situation that is now life-threatening. Again, called to make a report to Frisco PD when I had her for supervised visits because we'd go to Stonebriar Mall with Keeping the Peace LLC, which is a bailiff-owned 30-year bailiff of Cynthia Wheelis, which is also the wife of Ray Wheelis, regional judge for Collin County and surrounding counties. He employs law enforcement officers. Now, had 7 months of no incident with them having no incident with me. And honestly, my last memories with my 12-year-old daughter are based on the notes of these officers. I learned while showing up for the Karmelo Anthony trial that these were not regular street law enforcement officers, but they are actual bailiffs in family court. And again, have not a bad word to say about 2 that I realize are working in active district courts right now. 4 judges. I learned that they are actually attached to the judges and their licenses are held through the Collin County Sheriff's Office. And so, you know, these are the types of I guess I would say it's complicated feelings that people have when they don't have a complaint with certain law enforcement who's done nothing more than provide a service professionally, cordially, the way that it's supposed to be. And they may be attached to judges that aren't doing the right thing, but they themselves as law enforcement officers aren't doing the wrong thing. I found out about 3 weeks ago, when I still was getting services with this agency, that apparently 20-year investigators in the Collin County DA's office also serve as supervisors. I imagine they are also dually licensed law enforcement peace officers. And I did not know that the judges, the bailiffs, and the DAs provide the services that parents pay for based on family court orders like mine that unfortunately are keeping children intentionally and knowingly in neglect and abuse. I mentioned the concern for my daughter's brain because right now Collin County is prosecuting a mother for capital murder because of the fact that she knew the boyfriend was abusing her 4-year-old son, Dawson. She would text him about it. Every time you have him, he has a new injury. And so she was fussing at him about it, but she continued to place her child in and failed to remove her child from the custody, care, and control of someone that was neglecting or abusing her child. It turned out, because we can't see brain injuries, that the little boy in October of last year wound up in ICU. And then finally, unfortunately, in the first week of December, wound up losing his fight and dying, at which time the boyfriend, Christopher Alexander, and the mother, Chelsea Berg, are now facing capital murder over child abuse brain injury that caused death. But again, somehow when it comes to my, yes, Black child, they're not concerned, I guess, because she's not dead yet. And when she is, could they prosecute a case where I was constantly begging judges, police in Frisco, the Collin County DA to protect her? Will they prosecute a case where there is emails, where there's audios, where there is plenty of filings and notice, protective order filing being denied that I'm now appealing in the Dallas Fifth Court of Appeals? Will they prosecute a case where the mom abided by the law and said, hey, I don't need her to wind up a hashtag. I don't need her to end up dead. Let's protect her now. But unfortunately, the officer that actually interfered with the 911 call, well, it was the non-emergency call to Frisco PD that I made that day during the visit to have her head checked out and to report the fact that I had confirmed with both neurological centers it hadn't been done, even though her father lied and said it had. Are they going to prosecute a case where they had actual knowledge that this was a risk? And for Dawson, they're prosecuting. For Mariah, nothing to see here. Furthermore, judge that in his plain clothes was pretty excited to sit on the front row there at the wall behind the jury or next to the jury to watch the sentencing of Karmelo Anthony. But unfortunately, when he failed to protect my daughter, because a protective order he allowed to dissolve and said we will handle the abuse and neglect issues through the family law case, he allowed it to be transferred to new judge Catherine Pruitt, who was appointed to the bench now in the 494th, also being appealed. And with that strangulation she suffered 2 months later, they still haven't protected her. And so anyways, clearly it just is not any concern for a Black mother and her children. in Collin County, in Payne County, in Denton County. Again, there are two very different systems at play, and it's unfortunate. Has it spread now to family court-wise, impact families of all races? Yes. But unfortunately, when we don't stand up and we don't speak up when it's affecting someone else, it's a matter of time before it reaches us too. A threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so while there's so many people that have heard me crying out, not playing the race card, not going on racist rants about white people, and I still won't, because out of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's not how I feel. I do life every day, friendships, business relationships, faith-based relationships, every relationship that I have with white people. Again, my son's girlfriend was white, and she was treated just like family for 2.5 years because that's who we are. That's our character. And so it's not going to be a big racist rant that comes out of my heart because I'm quote unquote grieving, because it's not in my heart to begin with. What is in my heart is truth. What is in my heart is reality. What is in my heart is how ridiculously exhausting it has remained for 31 years as a parent, that there are different systems that don't allow me to enjoy my life the way that I should, because whether it's in the workplace, like I'm having to deal with one of my sons now, whether it is brain injury, strangulation, and custody matters, where a child has been purchased through family court, whether it's my youngest son who was being physically beaten in Allen Independent schools and injured, and police and schools and family court work together to conceal that and cover it up, because at the time, the Roach family law firm was being paid to oppose me. Whether it is Child Protective Services, whether it is a children's hospital, whether it is on and on and on and on and on. And the reason it is the way that it is because, unfortunately, when all of these systems know no one that we care about or we're concerned about is going to stand up and fight until truth, transparency, and justice, they know they can get away with it. Which is why in these 5 audios you all have now listened to in part 1 and part 2, nobody had to even worry about taking 5 minutes to get talking points and a story and version events together to make sure that they aligned, because they knew we would be sitting right where we are right now, 801 days later, 2 years, 2 months later, June 14th, 2026, after April 4th, 2024, with nobody doing a thing but watching it happen. As if modern day lynchings are okay. I do want to give a shout out to all of my girlfriends. And at this point, I would say they are all, every nationality from white and Palestinian and not Black, that continue to stand with me privately, publicly, and daily. It's why I'm not going to formulate a position that says just support Black people, because unfortunately, that is not the support that me and my family are getting right now. I had an opportunity when my son passed for the paternal side of the family to use their senators, to spend their money, to get an independent autopsy, to be able to talk about the hangings of Black males in America. There are a lot of Black people that hate me. There are a lot of Black people that have stood by and said, well, that's what he gets for dating a white girl. And if that is the mentality that they have to hold on to let that be the point, I can't say that they're wrong. I can just say I'm not going to allow my heart to do that. And what I couldn't allow my heart to do was to put my family through exactly what is happening in the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case. We couldn't do it. I had just gotten my daughter back, first time in 8 years, 13 days later. I thank God that God knew after this death of my son, the only thing that would get me through was the extreme blessing of my daughter coming home and being safe exclusively by court orders of multiple judges looking at facts, evidence, and law for 4 months. And so I was able to I had to suppress the grief. and focus on the child that was living, focus on the siblings and children that were living and then struggling with my son's death. Focus on, yes, how do we come together? Beautifully blended the way that we live Joshua's life in Collin County, in Allen, in Plano, in Frisco, and McKinney with white people, where the church that, offered up its space, its pastor, that was my children's youth pastor, to memorialize Joshua's life with us, where we could do that together. Being every day on site at the Karmelo Anthony Trial in Collin County at the courthouse. When I used to think to myself months later, did I do the right thing by not letting them go in to immediately make my son a hashtag about lynchings in America? Seeing what the Anthony family is going through, seeing what the Metcalf family is going through, and seeing what our nation is doing, I know I made the right choice. Unfortunately, making that right choice might mean that, again, I'm not the right kind of Black person for Black people to get behind and support. I've been accused of being too conservative and, being suburban, so I don't show up Black enough. And then, unfortunately, for white people, well, they will take care of us as humans in our day-to-day life, right? Friendships, partnerships, online connections. Unfortunately, it is until I know in this situation, this part of Oklahoma, white people stand up and say, this is not right, and we're going to push it until we get truth and transparency in what happened to Joshua James McDaniels in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Unfortunately, I know it's not going to go anywhere either. I'm supposed to lay my son to rest in a couple of days, and I'll just say here within the days ahead, the next 7 days, there's some other legal action I'm going to have to take, and I will. Again, in the midst of my grief, my grieving did not focus on hurting the other side, and it will not. People have known me to be involved in many justice fights. There was a 26-year-old that was killed in the Collin County Jail that we peacefully participated in. And when people wanted to dox officers who I knew had families and children, I said, absolutely not. We need to be lawful. We need to be peaceful. And we don't need to be sending harm to the doorsteps of anyone. That is my stance. That is my character. That is who I am. And if that makes me unacceptable to Black people and Black Lives Matter and Black civil rights attorneys, too bad. If it still makes me Black out here and not important enough, not seen enough, not identified with enough for white people who, if this happened to their child, would be fighting until justice, well, then I don't fit in that box either. But one of the things that I promised I would do was not let my son's voice and the reality of what happened to him stay buried. So this has not been easy. It's not easy now. But I do believe there's a God in heaven that is speaking and exposing right now. And so if anyone knows anybody or can do anything or willing to write a letter, your letters, your emails matter. Mine as a Black mother doesn't. And that's just the way that it is. Doesn't mean I'll stop talking. Doesn't mean I'll stop exposing. Anybody who has known me for any amount of time knows that I will not. Not for Josh, not for Mariah, not for Jonathan, not for Jerry. And if Isaiah ever needed me, not for him either. God decides who's going to be the parent of a child. Does every parent wind up deserving the right to continue to have access and be a parent to their child? No. But after 31 years and raising 7, 5 by natural birth and 2 by extra blessing, with no criminal record, with no drugs, no alcohol, no abuse, no neglect, no mental health, and still in my right mind by God's grace, even though people test that daily, there is no reason that I should be separated from my children. And I do believe here very quickly God is going to correct that. He is going to make sure that truth is divided from all the lies. Lies are the language of the enemy. I do believe it's evil. I do believe it's demonic because that's what the word says. And it's Sunday. And so all these great people in power that are filling churches all across Oklahoma and Texas in the Bible Belt, they say that's what they believe too. But let's look at the fruit. When facts, evidence, law, and truth actually collide to bring forth something called justice and equality for all, then we can believe their talk. Otherwise, I think we're going to wind up understanding one day there's going to be plenty of people to whom God is going to say on Judgment Day, I don't get to judge. I don't have a heaven or hell to put anyone in. But I do think that there's going to be a whole lot of people that fill churches today that play games with religion, acting like they are quote unquote Christians or men and women of God, that he is going to say, depart from me. I knew you not. You used religion and you used his name for power, for politics, for profits, for every purpose besides truly being followers of Christ. I'm going to go ahead and get off this live now before I start preaching. That was not the point. But I said I would do this before I have to lay my son to rest. I have to do that in 2 days. Y'all haven't seen a picture. I haven't gotten anything. Because again, as a Black mother, I don't have rights to. Allegedly, we're human. Pardon me if all the evidence shows I'm still 3/5. I hope you guys have a happy Sunday. Thank you for those of you that have listened, that have shared. Katie, thank you. Ginger, thank you. I can name some others that in the background every day let me know. Marlene, I see you. I see your family. I care, and we're with you. You know who you are if you're listening to and under the sound of my voice. For the rest of y'all, at the end of the day, it's not the words of our enemies, but I do have to let you know it will be the silence of our friends that when it's over, we'll remember. When we don't stand up for others, when their rights are being violated, not acknowledged, and dismissed, please understand there's going to be a group of people descending upon the Collin County Courthouse in 30 minutes. They are now of every race. They are now of every gender. And I'd have to suggest to you that when we decided over 400 years ago as a nation that it was routine, it was okay, it was humane to rip babies from the breast of Black women slaves, we set up the circumstances for where we are today. I hope today we'll start making better choices for equal access to justice for all. Thanks for listening.